So we talked today, or quite a bit this weekend, about how to approach the concept of determination. And then for me, when we start to conceptualize that or approach it as a concept, there seems to be this trap of wanting to establish it as a goal. And then the goal, that idea of establishing it as a goal leads to like an expectation of a result. And then I feel like that expectation inevitably leads to discouragement. And then there's this cycle of engaging, even at the beginning stages of trying to build determination, and then it leads down the wrong direction, right? Where it becomes a goal, then you develop an expectation of a result from that behavior, and then when you don't receive whatever the result that your mind expects, then you know, you face that discouragement, and then you kind of have to start again, and then you feel like you're not making progress. So I'm just wondering how you would recommend avoiding this trap.
Yes, I think that is so true. Cultivating this renunciation as a determination to be free from suffering. So, if you make it as a goal, you are right, because then we put a lot of pre-notion idea about that. This how it is, what it should be, how it is supposed to be, and then, just kind of like before whatever we, it's like, I want to have such and such, so, like kind of renunciation or something. So it becomes sort of like instead of actually cultivating the pure renunciation, you are trying to cultivate the idea of the pure renunciation. So that is there is a danger in like that, when you set it as a goal, and then it's just kind of like at the same time, then it becomes sort of like what do you call? It's like a project to achieve something, and then like, then at the same time, like expectation become an obstacle for achieving that. So yeah, so that is kind of like just generally what it is, just kind of not setting it as a goal, but just kind of that there's some determination is important, but that is why you're not actually working to just kind of don't use that as a goal, sort of like not to generate renunciation you are doing, but just kind of like understand what is renunciation, right? What is the determination? And that is why Master Lama Tsongkhapa actually giving us how to, right? So how to sort of like then suffering, like our day-to-day life suffering, and so just kind of like how much we understand our suffering. So you just kind of like you are sort of like putting some practice, like placing your awareness on your suffering more to understand the suffering. So this is, when you understand, when you truly understand the suffering, so there is no goal-setting thing here. What you are doing is you are just trying to understand your, part of feelings, which is we call the suffering. So then like just kind of when you actually deal with the suffering, how just kind of like you are learning yourself how you are actually responding to the suffering. And so, once you know how you are responding to your suffering, and then like, what is the suffering? So you're placing your awareness on suffering. So just kind of like, I am so uncomfortable with my suffering. So then you just kind of step back and saying, okay, wait a minute, what is it anyway? What am I feeling right now? Sort of like, so it is kind of like placing awareness is like stepping one back step away And instead of letting yourself carried away by this suffering, like whatever you are feeling, so you just kind of like, you are aware that, oh, so far I always let myself carried away. So just kind of when the suffering comes and I don't even look at it, I just let it carry me away. And so now, I'm kind of I want to see and stop and see how is this, how I'm getting carried away. So, when you are learning and studying, analyzing what is this suffering, and you will gain some knowledge there. You will understand. Because this actually takes a lot of, in the beginning, we don't have a habit to look and stop. Because so far, all throughout our life, what we have been doing is we are so good in letting ourselves carried away. Right? Just like it's so easy. So easy to let ourselves carried away, and that's everybody doing. But this is like the spiritual practice is, okay, now I stop, step back, and watch what is this. So once you know, then you know the true suffering. When you know the true suffering, and you know that how much unnecessary energy that you are pouring into it. And that is, then you actually starting to see the suffering, and this suffering is temporary. And this is, temporary, and then you actually, when you actually step back, and then you are understanding, you actually able to see what is beyond this. Then you actually see the good news. Beyond the suffering, actually, suffering is not permanent. It is actually impermanent, and it is temporary. But there is you starting to see the the suffering. Beyond the suffering, there's a free from suffering state. So when you actually see this, when you are actually convinced with that, then that's a determination. Because like generally when you are doing something in your life that you're determined to do something, because you see things, that's a determination. So there's like you don't have to do specific things to generate the determination. You just kind of use the method, and then your determination will come automatically. So it is not set that as a goal. Renunciation, don't set that as a goal. Same thing apply with the bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is like you just look into your mind, and your mind has a capability to actually help, right? You're just generally, there is an innate feeling of I want to help. So then, just kind of you actually letting, like your kind of mind goes into that innate quality, then invoking that nature. That's like, so it's bodhicitta and wisdom, they are like, they don't set that as a goal. Just kind of like do the things that is, what it is, mind is supposed to do, then understand it. Then that is how, you sort of like a meditation also. Sometimes when you meditate and you set a goal, that's kind of like sometimes very disappointing. Because it just doesn't happen. And then you're waiting for, okay, I want to happen this, I want to happen this. And, then what happens is you are kind of like forcing too much to make it happen. And that will not happen. Meditation is, same thing, like, when it has to happen spontaneously. If you force something, then you will have a crippled meditation state. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.